Hey everybody, this is Prattski and I'm finally making another video. It's been a while. I took a almost couple week vacation with my wife to Hawaii, which was just amazing and much needed. We hadn't taken a vacation without our children like that basically since we've had children, so about 12 years. And so that was awesome. Christmas is gone and past, and that was great. And now it's time to try to kind of get back into normal life a little bit and to kind of see what happens. So to kind of kick that off, I want to talk about three things today. The first being an update on this channel and what's going on with it, to where are we going to take it, what are we going to do. The second is this, I've been thinking a lot lately about being overwhelmed with the number of board games that I have and that I want to play. And it's almost like debilitating because I've got this mental, I don't know, it's like because I have so many, I feel the need to play them all and to play them all like now. And it's hard to like wait. And so, anyway, I'll share more about that and the second part. And then the third part, a thought that I've been having a lot lately is our kids are growing up and wanting to play video games with friends, and I'll just share some of my thoughts and would love to get some feedback from any fellow parents out there of kids who are also into video games. So let's start with a channel update. So at this point right now, we've got 70 subscribers. And again, thank you to all of you who have subscribed and watch and provide feedback and comments and everything. It's super fun, and I really appreciate all of you. So thank you, and that's really exciting. I've put up, so I started this channel in September, and I've put up 57 videos, and in total, I think there's a little over 6,500 views. So that was pretty cool, and that was definitely a lot more than I expected for this first few months here. So that's pretty exciting. But as I took a step back and just tried to really think about, what am I doing? What's the point? What am I trying to accomplish? What do I want to focus on? I realized that, I've done reviews, playthroughs, unboxing, I've done live plays, how to set things up, how to kind of teaching informative things, rules clarifications. There's really been like a lot, like how to organize different games and things like that. And it's just like spread. It almost feels like it's spread too thin or something like that, So I've been trying to figure out what should I do? Like, what's interesting? What do people actually want to see? And I don't necessarily need to be unique, but there are a lot of reviews out there. There's a lot of playthroughs out there. Do people want to see that anymore? I think a lot of other people do those things a lot better than I do. So maybe I should try to focus on what I'm good at. But out of all the things that I've done, I don't necessarily know what I'm really good at. So this is kind of a call out to any of you who are watching. If you've got thoughts about what you would like to see more out of me and this channel, on those different categories of videos, let me know if you're willing. I definitely would appreciate it. And maybe I'll try to get a little bit more focused on what I do and what I create. I think a little bit at first too, I was thinking that I needed to just keep pushing out content. Otherwise, if you kind of grow stale and don't, maybe only a video a week, I thought that would be kind of stale and people might get tired, like it's not worth subscribing because this guy hardly creates anything. Because some people out there push out stuff, almost daily. But maybe that's too much because that doesn't really give me any time to invest in the quality of the content that I provide. I'll leave it at that. So I have a lot of thoughts around it, and I don't know exactly where to focus, but would love your input. So please leave a comment and let me know if you have any thoughts on that. Otherwise, I just need to keep thinking about it and figure out what I enjoy doing most, and figure out if it's worth doing. So yeah, and then another thing that I thought about doing was that I mentioned in a previous video was like a playthrough of a campaign of some sort. And so, we've got Kingdom Death, Shadows of Brimstone, Too Many Bones, and I thought about maybe pulling one of those things out and running through that. But then as I look on YouTube and see, there's a lot of people who have done that, and they do all sorts of different camera angles and a lot of edits and stuff. And I don't know if I want to do that. And they've done a great job of it already. So yeah, that kind of made me pause and hesitate to start something like that, because I'm not sure that it would provide any value to what's already out there. So anyway, let me know what your thoughts on that. Would greatly appreciate it. Okay, second topic is, this year has blown up for me in terms of tabletop games. I've acquired probably more than I should have this year, and it kind of becomes addictive. It's like you just keep on hearing about, oh, this game is great, oh, this game is great, oh, this Kickstarter, you gotta get in on this. And it just like it never ends. It's just a constant wave of new and cool stuff. And so what ends up happening is you just keep buying and buying, and you don't get to play through the content that you've got. I've had Descent for quite some time. That was one of the original dungeon crawls that I ever got. And a friend and I have put, easily hundreds of hours into this game. And we still feel like we've got plenty to play. We just played last night, in fact, and had a great time doing it. And, so hundreds of hours. Myth, hundreds of hours available there. There's so much to be played yet, and I just keep on stacking up the games. So I feel like I need to fix that, because I'll bounce from game to game to game to game to game, always wanting that next fix in a sense, because I do enjoy learning games and experiencing them for the first time, but I don't want to be just the type of person who gets a game, reads the rules, experiences it, and says, wow, this is amazing, but I also kind of want to try this other game now too, which is what's been happening. So I just, in my personal gaming hobby, have decided that I really want to try to bring some better focus to what's going on. And so it's going to be, I think it's going to be hard, because there's going to be a lot of titles on these shelves that I won't touch probably for a little while, which is hard. Like Too Many Bones, I just got all of the content for that. I've played through a few of the bosses in Undertow, and that's it. So there's so much there that I just love, but I'm more already into some other games that I feel like I need to try to finish. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I've got a buddy of mine up in Minnesota who I played Descent with, and we do that remotely through Tabletop Simulator. It works great. So we're doing that. I've got another group that I'm assembling that we're going to try playing through Kingdom Death, and that's going to probably take a ton of time. If you've played that at all, you know that the campaigns are huge. And if you want to play all the content that's available now, so I've got 12 expansions, you really shouldn't add those all. So you got to play multiple campaigns just to even experience some of that stuff once. And the variation of that game is insane. So I'm hoping that we can make some good progress in that group. I'm playing Myth with another group already. We've been playing for quite a while, and we'll probably keep going on that. I've got a couple of playtesting projects for a company that I do playtesting with. I've got my 11-year-old son that I love playing with. For that, we've got Legacy of Dragonholt started, so we're going to try to get through that and finish that up and stay focused on that, because he's just like me. It's like every time I ask him, what do you want to play? It could be one of 20 different games. We never really stick to one thing, so we're going to try to finish that up. Then of course I got playing with my family and the twins and whatnot, and then painting as well. And I'm going to use painting just sort of as the filler, like if I'm just not really doing much for an evening, nobody to play with, I'm not in the mood to play solo, I'm going to try to keep painting. Got probably years worth of painting to do here. So I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to see if it works, and I hope that I can stick to it, because I think that's ultimately going to be the best experience, is to pick a game and just really get into it and know it well, and get to the point where you can kind of finish and say, you know, I feel like I really experienced most or all of what this game has to offer. So anyway, yeah, it took me a while to realize that, but and then the other effect on that too is that once you have a whole bunch of stuff and you're just kind of scratching the surface of a whole bunch, it almost gives you this restlessness of, well, I want to play this, I want to play this, well, I got to play that, oh, I got to reopen this, I'm going to have to kind of relearn the rules on that one because it's been a while and I only really played it a half a time. So I think it'll allow me to more just relax and enjoy what I've got to. So we'll see. That's topic number 2. All right, so this next topic is one that I just want to bring up because it's really been on my mind a lot lately, and I just don't know how to handle it, and that's kids and video games. I think I've talked a little bit about this before, and how I really like board games because it creates an exciting experience for kids outside of that video game realm, where you can be around a table with other people, interacting with other people face to face, which has so many more benefits than playing with people online. And you know, you're physically moving stuff around, and we can do that anywhere that we have a table, basically, or a flat surface to play on. And I just think it's an overall much more connective and better experience. But kids these days are just playing so much. We limit our kids, I think, more than most people that I know. And during the school year, we allow them to play 2 hours on 2-hour blocks on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So they get like 6 hours a week. And of course, they don't feel like that's enough, because we don't let them, like I said, play Sunday night through Thursday nights. But all of their friends basically get to come home from school and play whenever. Like, very little limitations on what they can play, unless for some reason they get in trouble and get grounded. Because every single time my oldest son gets on to play Fortnite, which is the craze everywhere, immediately he's got people to play with that he knows, that he's friends with. So, I'm starting to really dislike video games. I don't play them anymore myself. I definitely have played them, but with my eye issues that I've had, it prevents me from doing that. I can do Tabletop Simulator, which is just so much less motion going on, and I'm fully in control of what's going on. So in small batches, I can handle that. But otherwise, I don't do it anymore. And I just am not. I dislike the video games a lot, and I'm starting to dislike them more and more and more because of the effect that I feel like it has on kids. I've seen my oldest son literally sit around and do nothing for like 2 hours because the possibility of playing video games was there. You take away the possibility, like if you say, okay, there's no video games at all today. At that point, they then get more creative and they try to figure out something to actually do. But if the possibility is there, even though we've said no to not right now, it's like there's an inability to do anything. It just turned into a dud. Like the rest of life is not worth living until I can finally get my video game fix. And then another thing is that stuff like Fortnite too, there's a friend of my son's that we know has spent over $600 on that game. And pretty much everything that you've gotten out of it is like digital clothing. Like the gameplay doesn't change as far as I'm aware. You just look different in the game. And that's mostly I guess, is it a third person? I don't remember if it's a third person, if you get to kind of see your own self much or not. But $600 on digital outfits. That to me is just amazing. And of course my son wants to do it too, but we don't let him spend his money on that stuff, nor will we spend our own. But I just don't know what to do. You know, part of me wants to just completely take video games away and just let them be creative, you know, like let them get into other things. I don't think it's bad to be bored. I think that's a good thing. I think that's when it forces you to get creative. But with this video game culture, it's like everybody needs to be entertained all the time. And I maybe shouldn't even say video game. It's like screens in general, television, smartphones. I mean, it's like everybody wants to be on it all the time, and I get it too. I've got an iPhone myself, and like it's tempting to not get on it if you feel bored. You know, like look through Facebook or Instagram or whatever, or Reddit. But there's just, I mean, I feel like I could talk about this for a long time. There's other effects too, right? So how often do you actually just sit in peace and think about life? You know, like think about my job and how I'm performing as an employee. Think about how I am as a husband or a father to my kids. Just really be introspective. Like, I feel like that's a dying thing because we can be entertained so easily by everything around us these days. And we tend to lean that way because it seems more fun. It's like an escape from the world instead of being present in the world and owning it and thinking about it and trying to figure out how we can be a better person rather than how can we escape. Now, it might seem kind of contradictory, maybe it's hypocritical, I guess you could say, to be saying this about video games because, well, you could say, what's the difference between a video game and a board game then? You've got a board game channel where all you talk about is board games and that's your focus. And yes, like there needs to be balance to everything. And there's definitely arguments as to why board games are a better and more healthy experience than video games. But there does need to be balance to everything. So yeah, I get it. If you want to throw that argument out there, you know, there's validity to it. But yeah, you know, like for Christmas, I even bought my oldest a D&D core rulebook and a starter set, and was kind of hoping that he might be really, and he expressed interest in it actually. But he's kind of hardly read it because it seems boring. And I just wonder, you know, video games take the role of your imagination for you. You don't need to visualize things. You don't need to do too much about imagination. It provides it all there. All the sounds, the sights, and imagination is free. But the thought of spending time in an imagination seems boring. But there's so much there. There's so much potential there, you know. So anyway, I've been kind of rambling. I didn't really have a scripted bullet list of what I wanted to talk about there, but I bring up the point to all of you who have kids or have thought about video gaming in general, and I'm just curious about your thoughts. You know, like, should we be limiting kids? Well, I do think we should be limiting screen time. I don't think they should have free reign. But would it be too bad to just completely take it away? Like, what if we just got rid of it from our house and made it not a thing that we did? Maybe that would be good, but maybe that would also have the effect of all of our children's friends play video games and they get to do it, so that whenever they go out of the house, are my kids just going to want to go to their friends and just play video games because they can't hear? They have no fix for it here. Like it's the whole like pendulum swinging, right? You can go too far one way or the other, and if you go too far one way, you might react and go too far the opposite direction, that sort of thing. You know, I just don't know if it would have some bad effects there. I don't know. I don't have the answers to this, but I would love to hear your thoughts on it. I'll stop rambling about it. So anyway, yes, it's been a few weeks of a lot of thought and introspection on my end, just figuring out, you know, how do I approach the channel? How do I approach this hobby? How do I approach this topic with my kids and whatnot? And so I'm just, that was a dump of everything, and would love to dialogue about it with you if you've had similar thoughts. So thank you all. It's been a great year so far. I hope you've had a great Christmas, and I hope you have a great New Year's. And I look forward to doing more with y'all. So, until next time.